Good afternoon. Here I am. I don't know exactly what time it is, but I think it's somewhere between 1:30 and 1:45. I'm so glad you're going to join me today. I'll catch up first of all with my camera adventure. So I used the camera yesterday, and I got in and I got home and I checked it, and it was beautiful. However, there was no sound. I'm like, what? I know I plugged, you know what? My camera just quit again. I can't figure it out. I'm not going there. I'm just going to keep moving forward with this, knowing and giving thanks that one day this camera and I are going to make friends. So I'm going to start today with something that may not make you happy. And I hope that you will take what I'm saying without offense, without taking it personal. But the thing is, I want to talk about how we communicate. This is the best way I can communicate to as many people as possible here. I'm very happy about that. And we've got the telephone, and I've got a portal, or we've got FaceTime, or whatever ways we've got. There is a feature that is very helpful on Facebook, and it's called Messenger. Now with Messenger, the point is to send a private message to someone. In other words, when you're on Facebook, you can talk to everybody. But when you're on private Messenger, that's just between you and me. Now, what has become popular for so many people, and I know we want to reach out and we want to touch people, but what has become popular for so many people is using Messenger to send mass messages. And sometimes they're very nice. They're sending a hug. It's World Hug Day. And of course, you're usually told, send this to everyone you know and send it back to me so I'll know you'll love me too. Well, that doesn't really set well with me for two reasons. First of all, if I hear from you on private Messenger, I want to know you want to say it to me. I want it to be personal. We can be as impersonal as we want on the regular Facebook. You can post all kinds of things on Facebook. But if you want to message me and do it on private Messenger, I want to know that is for me and me alone. So I hope I don't offend anyone. That is definitely not my intention. And if I do, please forgive me. But, you know, I get one of those, it's World Hug Day, it's Keep Your Chin Up Day, it's the latest news on what's going to save you from the virus, it's whatever. And it's impersonal, and very often it's fake news. It's used to manipulate people by saying, if I don't get this back, you know, I'm looking forward to getting it back. I want a hug back from you. If I did that every day, I would spend most of my day responding to those. I am very grateful to know who loves me. Believe me when I tell you. Then I love it when you tell me. If you want to tell me you love me, you can put it in the comments here because that goes straight to me. Or you can private message me. But if I get a private message from you, I would sure love to know you have something you want to say specifically to me. I hope you all know I love you all already. So let's get into today's part of our journey on the how I spent my corona confinement. I'm going to see if I can make my camera work one more time. And I can't. Doggone it. I know the battery's charged. I charged it. That will be an adventure for tomorrow. So today, first of all, let's mark off another day on our calendar. This is day 11. There we go. You know, it really seems like we just started this, even though I started it 11 days ago. every day is kind of fresh. I like to check in with you. The word for today in our Unity Daily Word is evolve. And the affirmation says, through my human experience, I am evolving as a spiritual being. We've talked so many times about we are spiritual beings having a human experience. When we start to think that our human experience is all that life's about, is when we can really come into challenging, difficult states in life. We are down here in lower consciousness, in human thought and human emotion. Whereas where we want to be, we want to have a higher perspective. We want to have our mind connected to the infinite. That's where answers are, in the infinite. And we want to have sensing, where we can attune ourselves to higher energy. That's how we're going to get out of this. Attune yourself to the higher energy. I was listening to something on TV the other day, and they were talking about one of the reasons that we are experiencing so much challenge right now is because we have come up against something that we have no control over. We don't have a control over the virus. It will be what it will be. It doesn't know what we're doing tomorrow. The only control we have is what is called by right of consciousness. By right of consciousness says, where is my mind? And what do I truly believe about this? This is lower human consciousness. This is lack and limitation. This is higher consciousness, the realm of all possibility. We want to live in the realm of all possibility. That's my messenger note. There is such power in our words. It's not see, we think power is like we think a thought and we express it as a word, but it's more than that. Because our thoughts are inseparable from how we feel about those thoughts, and it comes out in our words. And there's great power in the word. Let's say that you're angry at someone. You are really, really angry at them. And you're trying to breathe, and you're trying to be, let's say it's a mate or a relative, someone really close, and they've done something that annoys you. And you know that you love them. Right this minute you don't like them, but you know that you love them. If you say to them, I love you, chances are it might sound perfunctory. Or if you're really mad, you might say, I love you. Yeah, that one doesn't settle very well. Or if you're really mean, you say, I love you. Or, I'm really not happy right now, but I do love you. Do you see, it's not just the word. It is the thought behind the word and the emotions you are expressing with it. How you feel about it is inseparable. Our throat is where the power center is. We call this the spiritual faculty of power. And our words, our ideas are not manifest. The first manifestation they usually get is connection to our emotion, and then we empower the thought and the feeling with our word. So we send out that word, and it is received. And when it is received, it starts a whole process in the mind and the thoughts and the feelings of the receiver. My mother used to have a very funny saying. She would say, always keep your words soft and sweet, because you never know when you're going to have to eat them. Have you ever had to eat your words? I have, and some of them are not very tasty. So good advice from my mom. There is great power in the word. So you want to use your words well. Words can hurt, and words can heal. If anyone has said anything hurtful to you recently, you know that had a physical reaction. And the more your physical reaction stays and keeps you down here in the human area, the longer you're going to suffer. Jesus had a very important bit of advice about that. He said, "What is that to you? Follow me." The first thing with "what is that to you," we have to look at ourselves and say, what is that about? Why am I hurt? Why am I happy? Why am I pumped up? Why am I excited? Because the word can bring on all those different things. Then we have to examine whether or not that's a valid thought or feeling. Then we can deal with it. We have to have it out in the open so we can deal with it. When I was listening to that interview with John Edward the other day, he talked about, we were talking about money yesterday. He talked about finances, and we have to learn to put our community above our 401k. Community is far more important, and that's one of the things we're all trying to learn. We want to learn to get along. We want to learn to be together and to grow together and make it positive. You like to go to Disney? I like to go to Disney. One of my favorite Disney rides, and I don't know if people get the same thing out of it that I do, but I love that small world ride. You know, it's a small world after all. And as you go in the little boat and you go along the ride, you look at all the people from all different countries, and they're doing things that are from the culture, and they're singing songs and wearing costumes that are from that culture. And it is a small world, and we are all one. We cannot waste our time with anger. We cannot waste our time with resentment. You don't want to resent. You don't want to re-experience. That's what the word resent means, to re-feel it, to feel it again. Where do we stay if we are resenting? We're staying in limitation. We're staying in a place where truth and love and light do not live. Truth and love and light live up here in our higher self. That higher self is there. But the more we get locked into our limited thought, the longer it takes us to get through the wall up to the higher. I was having a bad time this morning. I was missing, I am a very, very physical person. I love to hug. I thank God for my cat, because not only does she let me hug her, she comes around and complains. If you remember the first video, Tish was around there. Meow, meow, meow. She's no bigger than this, but she's one of the most vocal cats I've ever experienced. And she comes around and she wants attention, and she wants to be hugged, and she wants to be loved, and maybe she senses that I need hugs. But sometimes, when you're thinking about how far away the people you love are, even if that far away, like my sister, is across the street, or my niece who is across town, I've got a few of them, but they're all out of reach. But most of all, what really hurts is I miss my kids. They are in Kansas. They are in Missouri. They are in Colorado. There's my family in Florida, and my dear friends who are all across the country, but especially my family. So I was just feeling bad. There was no way I could shake that feeling. So I did the best I could. I called my niece. My niece understands me. We're both kind of the same kind of a very emotional people. And we have an agreement. When Sammy passed away, and I was so heartbroken, she told me, she said, you have to always know I am here for you, 24/7, 365. And we have a code we message. I can't tell you the code, it's a secret. But we have a code, and if I can't get a hold of her, I message her with my code, and she knows I need to talk to her now. Same thing for her, she needs to talk to me. Well, I called her, and I was able to reach her. And I cried, and I lamented, and we griped about the situation, and we expressed our frustration, and we got past it. Everybody needs a partner like that. That might not be your mate. It might not even be your best friend. Sometimes we just need someone we know we can dump all our stuff, and they'll sit there with the trash basket collecting it for us and dispose of it when we're done. Another great thing about having a partner is something I learned in ministerial school when I was in seminary. And I was having a challenging time, and I had some counseling sessions. And in one of the counseling sessions, and if you've got a pen and paper, you're going to want to write this down because you are going to want to use this exercise. I sat across from the counselor, and she said, tell me what's bothering you. And I expressed everything that was bothering me. She said, okay, now we're going to trade places. You're going to be me, and I'm going to be you. And when you hear me speaking, listen, as if that's my problem, not yours. And we did it. And she said, what advice do you have for me? And the advice was advice that I probably knew down deep in my heart, but didn't want to acknowledge or didn't acknowledge. But it was possible because she mirrored back to me. She was me, and I could see her out of my own body. It was just amazing that I had the answers. If you've got a friend and you've got an issue, and that friend is a trusted partner that you would share it's got to be someone you can trust, and you know that what happens here stays here. Tell them what's bothering you. Let them reflect it back to you as if they were you and you were them. And you will find answers that you never thought of. If you have to do it over Facebook Messenger, if you have to do it over the phone, however you have to do it. If you can do it face-to-face, even if that face-to-face is FaceTime, I encourage it very much. One of my kids that I was unable to get a hold of but really wanted to talk to today, I left a video message in Messenger because sometimes words are not enough. So take the tools you have and use them for good, and make sure whatever you do, you're not using them in any way that will negatively affect anyone else. Okay, I just got the warning that my camera is low on battery, my phone. I'm going to take 1 second. Don't go anywhere. I'm taking 1 second to attach my phone to the cord. I do apologize. 1 second. Okay, more than 1 second. Okay, not happening. It's not happening. I didn't bring the right cord up. I'm just going to touch this. So, should I disappear? I apologize for that. Okay, so, where was I? I am so sorry for that interruption. Maybe I can find a way to cut that piece out before I post this. Anyway, what I wanted to say to him required something closer than what I would say in words, because looking at each other might not be perfect, but it's as close as we're going to get. We have to watch our emotions. I did talk to my niece this morning, and she helped me after a good cry and a good talk, and we talked about the change of the endorphins and everything when you cry. I felt better. There's another tool I have for you that I encourage you to use, and it sounds very silly, but I'm going to just experiment with it, give it a try. This is a calendar, and I don't know how well you can see it, and it doesn't matter that it's backwards. You will notice that I used crayons to color the different days of the week. They were colored according to the mood of that day. And you can do this too. You can steal crayons from the kids, or there's got to be crayons or colored pencils or markers somewhere. Take your calendar and start coloring in the day that reflects your emotions. There's no code, there's no trick. It's just like, what color do I feel like today? And color it. And if you find that you're coloring in a lot of browns and grays and blacks, you need help. It might be calling a friend or family member or a counselor or a clergy person. That is a great way. It's a way of taking your emotional temperature. There's another wonderful thing you can do to feel connected. This is an example of one that I did. I did this book for my great-grandson, I think it was either last Christmas or the Christmas before. Now, his mom, my beloved Sammy, passed away when he was only 3. And I was always afraid he would not have those precious moments together. So what I did is I made him a book. And the book follows everything from his parents when they dated, and when they got married, and when he was born. I don't know how well you can see these, but it's when he was born, and it follows all the way through to everything right before he lost her. And the last picture they had taken together. She passed away just days after that. It's a little sad, but not all picture books are sad, and one day I pray it will be his treasure. You can create treasures. I used a program, whatever you call it, a company called Snapfish. And you can take your photographs, upload them, scan them. So many people have their photographs online already. And you can feel closer to your family by creating a book for each one of them. It is not that expensive. I don't know if they are currently furloughed to home or whatever, or if they're actually able to operate computerized. I don't know any of that. But I encourage you to, if you don't do a book, at the very least, look at your photographs. Keep your heart and your mind uplifted by keeping the focus up here in the positive. Don't fall down into the negative. You're gonna fall down. We all fall down. But try very hard to keep yourself in the positive. You can be alone and work against loneliness. There was a time I never thought I could even do what I'm doing, being as isolated as I am. Oh, and there's another thing I want to make sure that I tell you. I used to do earthquake preparedness classes when I lived in California. And what you had is you had an earthquake preparedness kit. I don't know if I've mentioned this in one of my previous messages or not, but because of the nature of the earthquake, we were told to get like big garbage cans with the covers that clip down. Of course, that was 30 years ago. So today there's all kinds of containers that you can get to clip things down. And you would want to have things in there. You don't need that kind of thing today, but there are a few things that I would like to suggest. One of the things is that, like I told you, I know I told you before, have paper plates and napkins and cups. Not because you need them now, but if for any reason you need them, they'll be there. One of the other things I always in their earthquake preparedness kit was, of course, they had some canned foods, you know, non-perishable stuff, but also treats, cookies, candy, because you need to keep your spirits up. And having treats is one way that keeps it up. I saw a meme today of a very fat cat, and it said, okay, I just finished the 15 days supply of food. What do I do now? And no, it's not about that. It's about giving yourself a treat from time to time. Having treats is very important in helping to stay positive. The last thing I'm hoping I have a chance to share with you before the battery runs out is about receiving input. There's all kinds of input we receive. We receive television, radio, conversation, we receive food, and I would like to suggest that you look at your news, you look at your input, even you look at your food, the way that your body does. With our food, and you want to write these 4 things down. We ingest, we take food in. We digest. Our body breaks up the food and sorts out what goes where and how to use it, and it makes it in a way that our body can become stronger for it. It assimilates it. The nutrients are assimilated by the body, and what is not good or useful for the body is then eliminated. Let's say we're talking about news. We ingest it because it is important to be aware. You can't live on news any more than you can live on alcohol or chocolate or whatever, okay? So you ingest the news. You want to ingest quality, not junk food. You want to ingest with the best you can. You digest it. You take it apart. Is that true? Is it not true? You assimilate it. You figure out, how am I going to use this information? And anything that is not of your highest good, you eliminate, okay? You've got to get rid of it. If it's an argument with your mate, if whatever it is, a worry, you ingest it, digest it, assimilate it, eliminate it. Imagine and constipated. Constipated is not fun and it's not healthy for your body. Your body gets all crazy and it becomes toxic. You have to be able to let it go. So learn to let go of things that are not going to benefit you anyway, that are not going to help you anyway. And sometimes, we're talking a lot today about relationships and how metaphysics works with relationships. Sometimes you have to let go of a relationship. If you're finding that you are chronically being dragged down or stressed out or whatever, consider the possibility it's time to let go. Well, I didn't get to half of my stuff today, but I'm so glad you joined me, and I hope you got something out of it. I hope that at home you have written yourself one of these little squares, and you remember this is intuitive. This is listening for spirits. That is sensing. You feel it. You know, you can walk up to a person and feel their energy. You can see a picture of someone sometimes and feel their energy. It could be a beautiful portrait, but you can feel something others can't because you are staying up here. You must be up here if you want to come out of this healthy. You don't want to get pulled down by harmful thoughts. You want to learn to transform and control your thoughts and your emotions. Emotions are energy in motion. Channel them. Use them for good. Well, that's it for today. My phone made it okay. Thank you, God. And I guess I'm still going to have to work on that camera. Have a great day. God bless you, and I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to be talking about prayer. Have a great one. Bye-bye.